Hey guys, it's Doug here. I was hoping to be with you this morning at your breakfast. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it, but I did want to just chime in and share a little bit of my story on what you just heard on the epic story, the larger story that God is telling. You heard Act 1 from John Eldredge on the relationship, fellowship, what God was doing before he created the earth. There's three things that come to my mind and that I've realized as I've figured out in my own journey that I am part of a bigger story. One of the first things that I figured out is that there is more going on here than meets the eye. And I love the image that we just went through with Christmas, that Christ was born as a child into a manger, totally hidden underneath the nose of the very kingdom that he came to usurp, the kingdom of darkness that he came to put under his feet. He came as a baby, and I was struck by that. I realized, wow, there's something going on here that I'm now a part of. I'm part of the lineage of Christ, and that makes me an important part of this story, whether I want to realize it or not. The second thing that I've come to realize is that we are in a world at war. This is not the safe story that we have been led to believe, and it doesn't take long for us to go back, reflect on our lives, and realize the wounds that we've taken, the stuff that we've been through. It's deep, it's hurtful, it can only be explained by a battle that's going on for the hearts and minds of the human race. And so I've realized that there is an enemy, there is some entity, I don't want to call him a person, but there is some entity set against my heart, and he's after me. He wants to see me fall. He wants nothing less than my own ruin. And I take refuge in Christ, and I realize that I need to wake up the warrior heart in me to fight that for my family, for my tribe, for the people that I serve on a daily basis. I have to pay attention. I have to understand that there is another world, a spiritual realm beyond this physical realm that is battling for the hearts and minds of humanity. So that's the second thing. The third thing is I came to realize that I have a crucial role to play. There is a part for me, and if I don't step up and play it, nobody else is. This isn't like a movie line, a ticket line where you're waiting in line for the movie and you step out of line, somebody just fills in to take your spot. If you step out, if you've been taken out, that means you're not there. There's a hole in the story. What you're designed for, your purpose, is not going to be fulfilled by someone else. I can't step in and play your role for you. And you don't have a secondary role. You have a primary role at the front lines to play. As men, we have wives, we have children, we're fathers and husbands, we're leaders in our community. If we don't play that role, if we don't step up and take the time to figure out our purpose, then nobody else is going to do what we were created to do. How do we get there, though? That's been the biggest journey of my life. And it's only been over the last few years that I've really woken up to this. And the first ingredient, so we could tell you all of this, I can share this with people, I can talk about the love of God and all that kind of stuff, and you have a purpose and God created you with a purpose. I can tell you all that, but if we're wounded, if we're not taking care of our hearts, if we're not going back and dealing with our issues, if we're not letting God into those places that are hurt, it's like telling a man with a broken leg to just stand up and walk it off, get back in. We can't do that. So we absolutely need to take time to dig, lift the hood, and figure out what's going on and get those wounds healed. The second thing that we need to do after that starts to happen, and it's not an instant transformation. It happens in dramatic ways, but it doesn't mean that it's finished if it just happens once. This is a constant process. I've figured that out myself the last few years, making trips to annual men's retreats. I've made that a purpose of my life. Solo time, getting away by myself just to be with God, for Him to speak into my life and understand what's been going on inside of me and get that stuff healed up. The next thing is to say yes and to step up, get activated. We got so many of us are sitting on the sidelines. We're watching our children grow up. We're spending more time at the office than we need to, and we need to spend time in the places that are going to make a difference. So we can't sit back anymore, guys. We got to get into it. We need to activate. I am absolutely convinced that the primary relationship of the universe is the Father-Son relationship. It's why God comes to us as Father. It's why He sent His Son. If we were able to figure out how to love our sons best and send them off as activated men, man, we would change the world. That would be the one key, the one linchpin to this entire problem, globally, communally, family. If we figured out a father-son relationship, how to do that well, I'm absolutely convinced that the kingdom would come in so many ways. So those are a couple of thoughts from me from the ranch. Sorry I couldn't be with you, but I am going to be with you on February 8th as we get going on the Fathered by God retreat that we're holding out at Camp Encounter with St. Paul's men's group. I really want to encourage you to do this, because here is where you take a step to go deeper, to expose some of those wounds, to start getting some healing done in your life so that you can step up and play the role that God's designed you to play. So if you haven't signed up yet, find one of the guys, get a registration form, and get it in right away. I don't know what our numbers are at right now, but we do have a minimum number. Okay, we need to have a certain number of guys to make this viable. So please don't wait. Pray about it. We're praying for you. We're praying for your families. We're praying that all the obstacles would be cleared away so that you could come and be with us on the February 8th weekend. So I'm really appreciative that you guys have taken the time to come to this breakfast. Glad I could be with you in this very cool way. It's incredible that we can do these kind of things nowadays. So I'm looking forward to seeing you on February 8th. God bless you. I'm praying for you. So here's 2 questions for you at your table. First question. Now, I'm not talking about getting away to Tahiti for 3 months. I'm not talking about a cruise, sitting back on the beach drinking Mai Tais when I ask you this question. If you could do whatever your heart wanted to do, what would that be? Where would you go? If you love to sail and you want to lead people, teach people in how to sail and spending time on the water, if that's your heart's passion, that's it. If you would want to design some product that you know would make a difference in the world, if you had some way that you could use your hands, your mind, doesn't matter whether it's mechanical, software, whatever, but if there's some place that you know you're gifted, do that. If there's a place where you want to actually go into Christian ministry, not every man is called to Christian ministry or that kind of a spiritual commitment as a career, but if that's something that you're called to, rescuing sex slaves over in Thailand or something like that, then go with that, all right? But I'm not talking about the rest that we might all need, a little vacation. I'm talking about if you were activated, if there was nothing standing in your way, what would your life's passion be? Second question, what are the things that are holding you back? If there's one thing that keeps coming up that just seems to get in the way. For me, it's perfectionism. I have to get over this idea that I need to get it right, and I need to stop expecting everyone around me to get it right. So that stands in my way. I'll sit there and I'll procrastinate. Perfection is the mother of procrastination, as I've started to learn. So that's the one thing that I really need to battle against. So what is it for you that just keeps coming up? Maybe it's being passive. Maybe you just can't seem to get the words out of your mouth. Maybe it's your anger. Maybe it's some voice in your head that's telling you just don't have anything to offer. So what is it that keeps coming back and standing in the way of you getting after the things that you really know are in your heart?